You ever feel like your organization is running on a dozen different treadmills, all at different speeds, all pointed in different directions? Well, today, we're going to talk about how to get everyone on the same track, running together towards one single goal: total assurance. This is the story of moving from fragmentation to a unified system of governance. So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? You've got different departments, each using their own favorite tools. You've got partners following completely separate processes. And you just have this nagging feeling that nobody, and I mean nobody, has the full picture. If that hits a little too close to home, trust me, you are not alone. And this right here, this is what that fragmentation looks like. It's just a bunch of grinding, disconnected gears. When your teams are stuck working in these silos, you just inevitably get tons of duplicated work and controls that are inconsistent, or even worse, they're conflicting with each other. It's not just inefficient, it's a breeding ground for compliance failures and, security breaches. And here's the really crucial point. All this fragmentation, it leads to something very specific and, frankly, very dangerous. It creates what we call the visibility gap. This gap, this is where all that costly uncertainty lives and breathes. Because management is siloed, no one can confidently answer the big questions. Questions like, what's our actual risk exposure right now? Are we really meeting our compliance requirements, or are we just kind of hoping we are? It's a massive strategic blind spot that, let's be honest, your organization just can't afford to have. Okay, but here's the good news. This operational chaos, it doesn't have to be your reality. The very first step to get out of that visibility gap is to build a bridge. A single, reliable system of record that becomes the source of truth for the entire organization. So, how do you start? Well, you start by taking all those separate frameworks, all those different puzzle pieces from across the business, and you snap them together into one cohesive system. What this does is it creates a common language, making sure that everyone, from the folks on the front lines all the way up to the C-suite, is on the same page, working from the exact same playbook. Now, once you have that unified foundation locked in, you can start to build. You can construct the pillars of a truly assured organization, and there are 5 of them. Together, they create the framework that moves you from guesswork to absolute certainty. I want you to think of it like you're building a fortress, right? First, you lay that solid foundation of evidence-driven governance. Then, you build up the strong walls of value-driven operations and proactive resilience. You put your best people in the towers with total enterprise accountability, and you make sure the gates are always ready with continuous audit readiness. Let's dig into what each of those really means. So, it all starts with this foundational pillar: evidence-driven governance. We're talking about a huge shift away from subjective reports and manual check-ins. The stuff that's often out of date or biased. Instead, we're relying on hard evidence that's automatically captured from what's happening in real time. It's the difference between someone telling you a machine is working and actually seeing the live data that proves it. It's all about proof, not promises. Next up, our second pillar: value-driven operations. This is all about connecting the dots. It closes that super frustrating gap between your big picture strategy and what people are actually doing day to day. Every single process gets directly linked to a specific business outcome. So you're not just measuring if people are busy, you're measuring what actually matters: real performance and real value. Then we build proactive resilience. This is how you finally get out of that constant firefighting mode. By embedding monitoring right into your operations, the system is designed to catch issues early, way before they blow up into a full-blown crisis. You stop reacting to disasters and start preventing them from ever even happening. The fourth pillar gets to the human side of things: total enterprise accountability. And really, this is just about absolute clarity. The system sets up transparent roles and tracks everything to make sure every single stakeholder is aligned. There are no more gray areas. Everyone knows exactly what they are responsible for and how their piece of the puzzle fits into the whole. And our final pillar, well, this one is a complete game changer: continuous audit readiness. Just imagine for a second completely eliminating that panicked, last-minute scramble to get ready for an audit. Because compliance is baked into daily tasks and evidence collection is automated, your organization is always ready. An audit just becomes, well, another Tuesday. Okay, so you've built the foundation. You've put all 5 pillars in place. What's the real payoff? Well, it is so much bigger than just being stable. It's about unlocking your organization's full potential for real innovation and long-term growth. In this quote right here, it just says it all perfectly. A secure and stable foundation isn't a limitation, it's a launchpad. It gives your organization the freedom to constantly experiment and innovate because you have this rock-solid confidence that all the core governance and compliance stuff is already handled. What you get in the end is this amazing, virtuous cycle. It becomes a continuous improvement loop where real-time insights on both performance and risk are constantly feeding back into the system, making it smarter. It is the exact opposite of that fragmented chaos we started with. Instead of chaos, you get a self-correcting, self-improving system that's ready for pretty much any challenge. So let's just step back and look at this whole journey. We started in a total mess of siloed management and fuzzy, subjective reporting, always putting out fires and dreading the next audit. But by building that single system of record, by switching to evidence-driven governance, and by building in proactive resilience and continuous readiness, we've moved into this calm, clear world of total assurance. The difference is, quite literally, night and day. And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? Looking at this journey from the heavy, grinding weight of fragmentation to the strategic power of assurance, you have to ask yourself, how is your organization going to make that leap? Because in today's world, it's really not a question of if you need to, but when.